This is the Conservative Czar, December 4th, 2015. I want to talk a little bit today about how complicated. I can't believe that the people, conservatives, who are watching what's going on in the Middle East can't at least understand at this stage in the game that their preconceived notions prior were probably wrong, that it's way more complicated than we can ever imagine, and there will be unintended consequences no matter what we do. This is unbelievably complicated. It is a morass and a mess that if we keep meddling in it, it's going to bring us down. So we have to understand, quit meddling and make it simple. We have an enemy in ISIS. Okay, let's go after ISIS the cleanest way we can, which is, in my opinion, to support Assad in Syria. Assad's got an army that has fought ISIS toe to toe, and use that army to go forward into Syria and defeat ISIS in Syria, come hell or high water. That we can do that. We're almost positive that with Russian support, with the Assad army, with our air power cranked up about 5 times more than it is today, and if that doesn't work, we crank it up 10 times more. Use air power and the Assad army, and we can roll back ISIS and knock them off. I don't have any idea what we do after that. Honest to God, if you think that things are going to happen from a defeat of ISIS in Syria, they're going to be pretty and sweet, you have got to be crazy at this stage. And anybody who tells you that they got an end game here is a liar. There is no end game. The end game is to stop the terror, defeat ISIS, and we can do it. We can do it in Syria. Iraq is a much more serious problem because we don't have an army, and what we need is to partition it and isolate it in a province of Iraq. I don't even have a solution for Iraq at this particular time. What I want to concentrate is that we bring down ISIS in Syria. I'm going to tell you a couple of dirty little secrets in that we're dealing with. And one of those secrets is the issue of Kurdistan, the Kurds. Now, the Kurds have been our allies for the last decade. And they seem to be reasonable people. I underline the word "seem" because in this region we never know. But there's a huge Kurdish problem. The Kurds have effectively made a state for themselves in northern Iraq. They're going to be independent. They are landlocked. And if this gets resolved in some way, which I don't think it will, the issue of the Kurdistan is going to crop right up again. And we're going to find ourselves with the Kurds fighting the Iraqis and the Iranians, and we're going to have to defend the Kurds. Let's say we settle. Let's say we have a settlement. But we have the Kurds up in northern Iraq, and we have the settlement. After the settlement, the Kurds got to be dealt with. And they're landlocked in northern Iraq. They have an enemy that are north of them. The Turks hate them. The Iranians hate them. It is going to be a mess. And what's going to happen is we're going to have to defend the Kurds because they're an ally. It's a mess. When we talk about the Kurds in northern Syria, now the Kurds have worked themselves to maybe a port. I mean, it's possible that they could. But what are we going to do with them? Assad and Russia and us push back and defeat ISIS. What happens to the Kurds? Now, I think we can make a deal, except the Kurds are going to argue that they want a state that goes from Iraq through Syria to maybe a port. That's what they're going to argue for. They're going to try to fight it. And one thing you must understand about the Kurds, there's a lot of talk by idiots, by guys who just are trying to figure out things that we can take the Kurds and march the Kurds against ISIS. That is never going to work. The Kurds are interested in one thing and one thing only, Kurdistan. They do not care one whit. And matter of fact, the reality is the Kurds need to have a constant war between Iran and the Sunnis inside of Syria, so that they never, once that's over, once that battle is over, however it's over, then Iran and Iraq turn their eyes to Kurdistan. We have a whole new war. You know, that's the rub of this thing. It's complicated. It's a morass. Second dirty little secret. I've said this over and over again. You understand? Sometimes I take it back. The whole Middle East is split up between two factions of of Islam: the Shia and the Sunni. It goes back to when Ali, I think Ali is the Shia wing, and then Omar, I think, is the something like that. One guy went one way, and one guy went the other way in 800, something like that. And that created this break between the Sunni and the Shia. Iran is Shia. Saudi Arabia is Sunni. Jordan is Sunni. Egypt is Sunni. Sunnis are the majority. And we have this potential battle between the two of them. This civil war. It could be. Well, who knows? Who knows? So we have this split. What do you think ISIS is? ISIS is Sunni. It's radical Sunni. It's Sunni to the nth degree. Their sworn enemy is really Shias and Christians and the West and a whole bunch of other things. But they're Sunni. Okay? Do you think for a moment that Saudi Arabia is interested in ISIS being defeated? At every single place ISIS is, they're fighting Shia. Every single place. Saudi Arabia is the king of the of the Sunni. That's a number one theological and historical site of the Sunnis. Do you really think, as long as ISIS is fighting the Shia, that that Saudi Arabia is going to try to stop them? Why do you think they haven't got one man in this fight? Why do you think when we talk about this mythical Arab coalition, it's going to put a force of fighters that are going to fight our battle? That's what they perceive it to be, our battle. Anywhere. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And the dirty little secret is that and deep down the Saudis are supporting ISIS. And that's how complicated a world we're in. Solution in my mind is what I said in the beginning. Clean up Syria first, see what's left. Never make long-range commitments. This long-range commitment we made to the Kurds is a disaster. It's another war 10 years from now in the making. And these are all over the place. All over these little tiny things that are going to bring us in. We need to get out of the area. And what we need to fundamentally say to them is this. We're going to fight radical terrorism, and we're going to fight it hard, fast, and we're going to kill a lot of people. If you don't want us to kill a lot of people, then you get control of these people now. Okay? Otherwise, we're going to come in. We're going to come in, and we're going to bomb, and we're going to bomb, and we're going to bomb. This nicey thing of rules of engagement that we cannot bomb because of civilians has got to be wiped off the face of the earth. This is the Conservative Czar. See you next time.